Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to see you again. I just checked the freezer and I am plumb out of freezer breakfast. So we are going to remedy that sad situation today. We're going to make orange juice waffles, breakfast burritos with various fillings, miniature quiches also with various fillings, baked oatmeal with blueberries, and pancakes, eggs, and bacon that I will put in little freezer containers. And the first thing I need to do is to cook off 2 pounds of sweet Italian sausage. Now, when I was at the market this morning, I thought I had bought 2 packages of bulk Italian sausage, but I guess I wasn't quite awake. One of the packages is regular sausages. So I'm going to cut the wrapper here and remove the meat. All right, I've removed all of the meat from the casing, so now we can cook the Italian sausage. I want to jump in here to tell you that this freezer breakfast marathon was well worth running. I was able to make at least 54 meals from the simple ingredients we are using today. While the sausage is cooking, I want to go ahead and scramble a lot of eggs. Now, I'm going to need 9 eggs, not scrambled, for the miniature quiches that we're doing. So I will put those in a bowl here. I will also need 5 eggs for the baked oatmeal. 2, 3. So these are reserved. I will need 2 eggs for the pancakes and 2 eggs for the waffles. So we will keep these reserved, and I'm going to scramble all of the remaining eggs. So I need to crack 4½ dozen eggs. I had to interrupt my egg breaking in order to break up the sausage. I do save my eggshells and put them on the compost. They're also supposedly very good for adding to garden beds where tomatoes are planted because they add calcium to the soil. Our sausage is all cooked now, and I'm still cracking eggs. I don't think I have ever cracked and scrambled this many eggs before, but I'm going to need a lot of them for the breakfast burritos as well as the bacon, egg, and pancake containers we're going to make. Let me make sure and all of the eggs, yes. Spoiler alert. I should have selected a larger bowl for all of these eggs. Live and learn, my friends. And here it is. Well, this bowl is working much, much better. Now, I do want to season these eggs with salt and pepper. And I think I should scramble the eggs in my electric skillet simply because it has a lot of surface area. I do want to add some butter to the skillet. In go the eggs. And the trick to really nice, soft and creamy scrambled eggs is to cook them low and slow. And I will simply stir gently from time to time until all of the eggs are softly scrambled. While we wait for the eggs to coagulate, and I will continue stirring them from time to time, we can go ahead and cut up a ham. I think this might be about all we need for the mini quiches. I'm going to dice this. So the Italian sausage is done, the scrambled eggs are done, the ham is diced. Now I want to dice up some red bell pepper. When I went to the market this morning, they had no red bell peppers. No red, no yellow, no orange, only green. And then I remembered I have the bell peppers that you and I grew together in last summer's garden, and that we chopped up and froze. And besides the diced ham and the diced bell pepper, I want to chop up some of the bacon that you and I cooked together when we did that massive freezer prep video last week. And we can add some of the bacon to the breakfast burritos, and maybe to the miniature quiches as well. I have 16 tortillas here, burrito size. And I'm doing a lot of these breakfast burritos because we love them. Scrambled egg, and we can put some of the sweet Italian sausage in this burrito, a few pieces of bell pepper, more than a few. We can put this one on a tray. For the next burrito, more egg, bacon, and queso. This is a Mexican blend of shredded cheese. I forgot to put cheese on my first burrito, so I'm going to unwrap it, add the cheese, and wrap again. You can put almost anything you like in a breakfast burrito. Please don't feel limited by the simple ingredients I'm using today. I like to wrap the burritos in parchment before I freeze them. And to heat up a frozen burrito, I simply microwave it until it is nice and hot, about 2 minutes at full power. And these burritos certainly do not last long in this house. And we love them not only for breakfast, but for a quick snack, a quick lunch, a quick and easy dinner on the go. Breakfast burritos are very convenient to have in the freezer. Do not be surprised if you see a dog pop her little head above this workstation. My dog Avery loves bacon, she loves ham, she loves cheese. I think she loves tortillas too. So this is all very tempting for her. Now, since this bell pepper was previously frozen, I felt I did not have to saute it first. Freezing always softens the pepper walls, so when you microwave the burritos, It's really all the cooking that the peppers need. 16 breakfast burritos. Now, I'm going to wrap these in parchment and prepare them for the freezer. I'm going to save the chopped ham and chopped bell pepper and chopped bacon for the miniature quiches that we're going to make in just a little while. Right now, I want to use the remaining scrambled eggs in some breakfast medley dishes. So I have a lot of storage containers here. And I have some whole strips of cooked bacon. And I may add pancakes to some of these breakfast medley containers. I have two sizes of container, so I think the smaller ones will just be scrambled eggs and bacon. The 2 strips of bacon. Be generous. 3 strips of bacon. And here again, these just go in the microwave at 50% power for a minute or 2 until the eggs and the bacon are perfectly heated. My spouse loves to have bacon and eggs for breakfast, and most mornings I do not feel like fixing bacon and eggs, so this will be very convenient to have. I'm so glad that we thought to cook all of that bacon when we did the massive meal prep. These are ready for the freezer. These I will set aside, and later we will add pancakes to them. And now we can move on to the miniature quiches, which I sometimes refer to as egg muffins. So I need 9 eggs. My spiral whisk is in the dishwasher, so I need to use this regular balloon whip to beat the eggs. We're going to bake these egg muffins or miniature crustless quiches in a muffin tin. And I need some salt and pepper. And we can set this aside. Here's the muffin tin. I want to grease each opening. And then we can add some ham to the bottom of certain openings. In the other openings, I'm going to add bacon. This is the chopped bacon left over from the breakfast burritos. And I want to add some bell pepper to each little muffin well. I'm also going to add some freeze-dried shallot to these little muffins. Freeze-dried shallot is another, or I guess some people say shallot. I say shallot. That they're great to have on hand, and they smell just fabulous. Sometimes I add Italian seasonings to this mixture. I'm not sure if I want to do that today. Let me check that I even have some. Well, I do not have Italian seasonings per se, but I do have dried thyme leaves. I can add a pinch of the thyme. And I have oregano or oregano, just a pinch. This will simply add another layer of flavor to the muffins. Whisk that in. It smells just gorgeous. And then we can fill each of the muffin openings about 2/3 of the way full. Finally, we need to add some cheese. These egg muffins, or little quiches, were remarkably delicious. You can refrigerate them for several days or freeze them for up to 3 months. To reheat a frozen muffin, I simply microwave it at 50% power for about 1 minute. Now, I sometimes add little broccoli florets to these muffins. You can really add any diced vegetable that you happen to like or happen to have on hand to the muffins. And now my oven has preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. And I'm going to bake these muffins until they puff and are done. That will take about 25 minutes. Going to clean up my workstation. Then we're going to make some pancakes. These pancakes will give me a chance to test out King Arthur's gluten-free measure for measure flour. And what we need is 2 large eggs, 2 cups or 500 mils of milk, 4 tablespoons of melted butter, and a splash, about a teaspoon, of pure vanilla extract. Then in a separate bowl, we need to add 1 2/3 cups of this gluten-free measure for measure flour. Let's see, how many grams is that? They say 364 grams, so I'm going to simply weigh this out. 365 grams, close enough. And to the flour, we need to add 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Better make sure it said tablespoons and not teaspoons. Yes, tablespoons. 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. And 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And give this a whisk. Now, in all honesty, this recipe should have had me mix the dry ingredients first. That way, I could have used the same whisk to mix the wet ingredients. Oh well. And then our egg muffins are almost ready, so I'm going to put the pancake ingredients aside for just 1 moment. Oh my goodness. Well, even I'm impressed. And the only thing that made these muffins rise was the eggs. And of course, they will deflate a little bit. But we're going to let these cool, and then we can unmold them. And those muffins smell just heavenly. Now back to our pancakes. So I want to add the dry ingredients to the wet. And as with all pancake batters, you want this one to be a little lumpy. This mixture does seem extraordinarily thick, however. I'm going to add just a splash of milk. Yeah, a little milk just to thin this out. I don't want super thick pancakes. My electric skillet has preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to grease it. And then we can add the pancake batter by the 1/4 cupful. You can always tell when it's time to flip the pancakes because they will develop a lot of bubbles along the edge. Now, I think these pancakes will be vastly improved with the addition of butter and some maple syrup. So when I put these in the little freezer containers over here with the bacon and scrambled eggs. I'm going to add a little pat of butter to each pancake. But before we do that, I need to get cleaned up. And now that our pancakes are done, we can complete our little breakfast medleys here. So I'm going to put the pancake on the side and add a pat of butter. Then we can close the containers. And these will be ready for the freezer. On to the baked oatmeal. This is one of my spouse's favorite things to eat, either for breakfast or for a midday snack, or even for dessert after dinner. And I have made this so many times, I barely even have to measure anything out. So we need 5 large eggs. We need to beat the eggs. And by the way, my oven is preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. And I will link the printable recipe for this baked oatmeal in the description box below. Then we can whisk in 3/4 cup or 188 grams of unsweetened applesauce, 1 cup of Greek yogurt, 1 cup or 240 mils of milk, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. This is the extract that you and I made together. A 1/2 cup of honey, or thereabouts. You could add more or less honey, depending on how sweet you want your baked oatmeal to be. Then we need 6 cups or 510 grams of regular rolled oats. In America, these are called old-fashioned rolled oats. And on top of the rolled oats, I add 3 teaspoons of baking soda. Not baking powder, baking soda. And 1 teaspoon of salt. Give this a mix. Finally, I want to add some blueberries, which I have in the freezer. 1 or 2 cups of blueberries, whatever you desire. Fold the blueberries into the oatmeal mixture. Then I need my baking dish. Smooth it out. This is almost like baking a super healthy version of Rice Krispie treats. I mean, you can cut this baked oatmeal into squares. And into the oven it goes for 45 to 55 minutes. The baked oatmeal is done when a skewer inserted into the center comes out clean. And finally, we get to make our crispy orange juice waffles. Now, these are my absolute favorite waffles, and they are super crispy. And you do not have to beat egg whites for them. Cornstarch does that work. So my ancient waffle iron is preheating here. My mother gave me this waffle iron, I think like 30 years ago. So in a large bowl, I'm going to whisk together 2 cups or 260 grams of all-purpose flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 cup or 65 grams of cornstarch. which I have already measured out. Whisk. And then I need to whisk in the grated zest from one orange. And I'm using my microplane zester here. This is a great gadget because it removes only the fragrant peel and none of the bitter pith. Then in a separate bowl, I need 2 large eggs. And I need to beat the eggs. Then we can beat in 1 3/4 cup or 414 mils of orange juice, with or without pulp, your choice. 2 tablespoons of sugar. And the sugar helps with browning. A 1/2 cup or 120 mils of some neutral oil. I'm using avocado oil. Now we can tip the dry ingredients into the wet, or the reverse. All my spurtles are in the dishwasher, so I'm using a regular spatula. I just want to mix all of these ingredients until the flour mixture is thoroughly moistened. Waffles freeze perfectly, and you can reheat them, well, in the microwave, but even better, in the oven or in a toaster oven. This batter has a gorgeous citrus perfume. And now we can ladle this into the preheated waffle iron. Of course, I want to grease this iron. This is a Cuisinart waffle iron, and I don't know if they still make them, but I can look on Amazon, and if I find this waffle iron, I can link it in the description below if you are interested. Oh, these look gorgeous. Very, very hot. Another batch. These are so beautiful. I should have doubled this recipe. And our waffles are made, and please forgive me, but I really have to try one of these for you. I don't know if you could hear that crunch, but these are definitely crispy on the outside, soft and tender on the inside, perfectly perfumed with orange. I just love them. This oatmeal casserole looks as fantastic as it always does. I actually pulled this out of the oven right after I had put it in order to strategically arrange some blueberries on the top, just to make it look extra pretty. Now we have to let this cool, and then I will cut it into squares, and those squares can either be frozen or refrigerated. Well, this was quite the cooking marathon today, but look at everything we made. Crispy orange juice waffles. We made gluten-free pancakes. We made breakfast muffins, or egg muffins, I call them. We made 16 breakfast burritos. We made this blueberry baked oatmeal. We made these breakfast medleys of scrambled eggs and bacon, plus a larger scale breakfast medley of scrambled eggs, bacon, and pancakes. I do want to cut one small piece of this baked oatmeal so that you can see what it looks like inside. Of course, it's very, very hot. It's almost like cake. In fact, it is like cake, and there's no flour in this recipe. I need to wrap up everything and get it into the freezer. Meantime, let's go into the music room. I want to finish this baked oatmeal. This is so delicious. And I wanted to mention that one of the reasons I wanted to make all of these freezer breakfasts is because my mornings are super busy. I get up at 4:30 or sometimes as late as 5 o'clock, and I make coffee, and then I hit the home gym, and then I come into this room and I practice. And before I know it, half of the morning is gone. I have had absolutely nothing to eat. So now, with all of those breakfasts in the freezer, all I need to do is pop one into the microwave, and I'm all set. And thank you so much for spending time with me as we had this marathon breakfast making day. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Until then, please treat yourself well, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now, friends.